So I'm going to sing a song in Hebrew, but before I do, I want to give you the English translation so you can kind of really feel these words. This song was written a few weeks before the Six-Day War, which, if you know history, that was a pretty devastating time. And then the war happened. So this song is a very, very powerful, potent song. Okay, it's called Jerusalem of Gold. The mountain air is clear as wine, and the scent of pines is carried on the breeze of twilight with the sound of bells. And in the slumber of tree and stone, captured in her dream, the city that sits solitary, and in its midst is a wall. Jerusalem of gold, and of copper, and of light. Behold, I am a violin for all your songs. How the cisterns have dried, the marketplace is empty, and no one frequents the Temple Mount in the old city. And in the caves in the mountain, winds are howling, and no one descends to the Dead Sea by way of Jericho. But as I come to sing to you today, and to adorn crowns to you, I am the smallest of the youngest of your children, and of the last poet. For your name scorches the lips like the kiss of a seraph, and if I forget thee, Jerusalem, which is all gold. We have returned to the cisterns, to the market, and to the marketplace. A ram's horn calls out on the Temple Mount in the old city. And in the caves in the mountain, thousands of suns shine. We will once again descend to the Dead Sea by way of Jericho. Avir harim tzalul kayain, rereach oranim, nisa beruach habayim im kol pahamonim. Uftarde marilan vaevan, shvuya b'chaloma, ha'ir asher badad yeshovet, uvila b'choma. Yerushalayim shel zahav, v'shel nechoshet v'shel or, halel lechol shirayich ani kinor. Yerushalayim shel zahav, v'shel nechoshet v'shel or, halel lechol shirayich ani kinor. Achayav shu barot hamayim, kikar hashuk reika, vayen pokedet har habayit ba'ir ha'atika, uva me'arot asher b'seila, ma'yeh lelo rucho, v'yen yored al yam hamalech b'derech Yeriko. Yerushalayim shel zahav, v'shel nechoshet v'shel or, halol lechol shirayich ani kinor. Yerushalayim shel zahav, v'shel nechoshet v'shel or, halol lechol shirayich ani kinor. Shazarnu el barot hamayim, lashuk velakikar, shofar korei behar habayit ba'ir ha'atika, uva me'arot asher b'seila, alfei shmashot tzorchot, nashuv nered el yam hamelach b'derech Yeriko. Yerushalayim shel zahav, v'chel nechoshet v'shel or, halol lechol shirayich ani kinor. Yerushalayim shel zahav, v'shel nechoshet v'shel or, halol lechol shirayich I dedicate this talk to my father, Isaac Elchanan Benjamin, who would be very proud of me right now, speaking about Hanukkah and sharing the light of this beautiful, beautiful celebration. So welcome. How's everybody doing? All right. Oh, wait a minute. This is a Wild Soul Sanctuary. How's everybody doing? Okay. So I had the pleasure of being in Israel 40 years ago, and when you're in the old city, and people are praying, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. There's such depth to prayer. There's such depth to being in this most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. My biggest impression and saddest impression was when I was there that many years ago. You know, it's a war-torn country. It is one of the most beautiful places in the world, and it's constantly under struggle. So big prayers all around over there. My talk today is Dancing in the Light, how the spiritual takeaways from Hanukkah can illuminate your path. So good morning. Here's a question for you. What is the Hanukkah Menorah's theme song? You light up my life. Okay, enough of that. Or is it? Oh, okay. That was a joke. Okay. We have had the theme of dancing this season, and now as Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, is here, we get to celebrate the light and dance in it. Dancing is allowed anytime, just I'm letting you know that. As a poet, I love words and like to understand their meaning. So to start, Hanukkah means dedication in Hebrew. What about light? Light is the natural agent that stimulates sight and makes things visible. Or light means to make something start burning, to ignite. I'd like to ignite curiosity in you as well as creativity at this holiday time and always. And if you know me well, that happens to be with vision boards and poetry and music and singing and just having a great time. My talk will also be about the spiritual takeaways from Hanukkah and how they can illuminate your path. And the first one is all about light. What does light mean to you? The opposite of dark? The illumination we need to see clearly? What light means to me as it relates to Hanukkah is the light of the menorah. Think about it. Just one candle can illuminate an entire room. This is the key as we think of our own light within. Where does your light come from? Where does it shine from? Your heart? Your mind? Your soul? Have you ever noticed that sometimes your light is too much for some people and they want to diminish it or put it out? Anybody have that experience? Okay, this is not you. It is them. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe they want that ability to shine forth as well. Maybe it's just too much for them in that moment, and that's all okay, but it's them. So please don't allow this in your life. We are all here, underline all, here to shine with different skills and talents, so shine on. The menorah, or Hanukkah as it is sometimes called, has a central candle called the shamash. This candle, as you saw, is the candle that lights all the other candles. Are you a candle for others? How do you show up in the world? Do you turn your back? Do you give a helping hand? Do you open the door? Do you curse the driver? How do you show up in the world? Be the shamash and see how your life changes. Did you ever do something for someone and you felt so amazingly good afterwards, that's what we're here for, to be there for ourselves and for each other, and to do it authentically. Very important to do it authentically. This menorah lighting ritual reminds us of our light and our responsibility to be caring, giving people. The shamash passes the flame to the other candles without being diminished. If I do something for you, I'm not taking anything away from myself. I'm giving something to myself by giving to you. Pretty cool, huh? The deeper significance of Hanukkah is the miracle of this holiday. Anybody like miracles? Yeah. At the rededication of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, there was only enough oil for one day to light the menorah. Those who had made the oil had to be in a state of spiritual purity, and being soldiers returning from battle, the Maccabees were deemed impure, since the process of purification after touching a corpse lasts 7 days. The Maccabees could only produce additional pure oil after 8 days. I never knew this until I did this research for this talk. They would have been unable to light the menorah for 7 days before the purification of pure oil. This one oil cruise lasted for 8 days, and by that point, new pure oil was ready. The Talmud is one of the holy books in the Jewish religion, and rabbinical students study it intensely. You may have heard the expression on the one hand, but on the other hand, and these scholars would sit and do this for hours and years and decades. They might have one issue that they probably never decided about. So, this is something else I didn't know. An interesting fact is that Rabbi Shammai suggested we start the first day with 8 candles and then diminish by 1 each day. And Rabbi Hillel suggested we start with 1 candle and add 1 each day, which became the now traditional way to do it, signifying that we should add light to the world and never diminish it. I love that. How does this miracle relate to you in modern times? Ever somehow have enough food for 10 people, even though you only seemingly made enough for 2? Ever find that last quarter for the washing machine at the laundromat? Ever have those OMG experiences of almost running out of gas, but somehow you made it to the gas station just in time? Hanukkah, like Passover, also celebrates freedom from oppression. It also celebrates the freedom of religious expression. That's a huge deal in the history of the Jews. Many Jews kept their menorahs hidden until they realized that it is best to share it with the world and be proud of their heritage. So, as we light the menorah, each candle symbolizes how the increased light can overcome darkness, and how we can continuously add more light to the world, 1 candle at a time. And I just have to say, think about where we are right now. How much light can we bring? How much light do we need to bring right now? I know that maybe some people, myself included, just, I want to hide out in a cave. This is too much for me. I can't do this. I'm going to show up. I'm going to shine. I'm going to rest and rejuvenate. But when I show up, I'm going to be there for you, because this world is doing some funny stuff. I'll leave it there. So, we light the menorah. Each candle symbolizes how the increased light can overcome darkness, and how we can continuously add more light to the world, 1 candle at a time. And, as Eleanor Roosevelt is credited with saying, it is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. As we face these current challenging times, we too can shine our lights instead of buying into the fear. It's customary to refrain from doing any work while the Hanukkah candles are burning. Why? This tradition helps us focus on the mitzvah, which is a good deed, of lighting the candles rather than quickly moving on. Ever notice how you can get distracted when working on a project that needs your utmost focus? Meditate on a candle when faced with scattered energy. This will help. It's also a special time to gather with family and friends, make latkes, receive gelt in coins and chocolate, gelt is money, play dreidel, sing, and if you are really ambitious, make some sufganiyot, aka jelly donuts. That's why the donuts are out in the lobby, to remind us of being able to use the oil. Imagine that you didn't have all of your ingredients for the food that you wanted to make, especially oil, like, oh my goodness, so that's why it's so significant. Curious about the dreidel? On the dreidel, the Hebrew letters Nun, Gimel, He, and Shin, the letters form an acronym saying Nes Gadol Hayasham, which translated means a great miracle happened here. You spin the dreidel, and each letter represents a move in the game, and kids get to have fun while learning about the holiday and history. The gelt of Hanukkah recalls the booty, including coins, that the Maccabean visitors distributed to the Jewish widows, soldiers, and orphans. The tradition of Pirsumei Nisa, or publicizing the miracle, is an integral part of Hanukkah, where we light the menorah in public view. On Hanukkah, we light candles in public to commemorate the Jewish people's triumph over this oppressive rule. Imagine not being able to be yourself. Imagine hiding. As Nachum Braverman says, we light candles in testament that faith makes miracles possible. Faith makes miracles possible. Hanukkah is also a time to give tzedakah, charity, to those who are less fortunate. According to Jewish philosopher Moses Maimonides, one of the highest forms of giving is when the benefactor remains anonymous. When we give to charity known as tzedakah, we spread light to those in need and even shine more brightly ourselves. When you light another candle, the other candle doesn't stop being bright, right? Rabbi Joseph B. Soloveitchik taught that the number 7 signifies the completion of the natural world, whereas number 8 symbolizes transcendence of the natural order and a deeper connection with the divine. Each night of Hanukkah presents a chance to rise above the ordinary, focus on the miraculous, and connect with the divine. Sounds pretty good to me. This holiday represents the resilience of the Jewish spirit. The Jews, like so many other oppressed people, have been through some of the cruelest persecutions in history. They truly are a resilient people. How does resilience show up in your life? Do you have some challenges that you keep on working through? Do you call for help? Do you research how to solve your issue? Or do you give up? Resilience is such an important aspect of how we can live in our life. Now, here comes the cool part. Just like the Maccabees restored and redecorated the temple to Judaism, during Hanukkah, we too have the opportunity to rededicate to our goals and ideals, ergo vision boards. We can do that at the beginning of the year. We can touch into what do we want to accomplish for this year? How do we want to show up? And it doesn't have to be about material goods. Maybe I just want to be more joyful. Maybe I want to get better sleep. What is my vision? One time I did a vision board. It was all about meditation, and it was such a beautiful reminder for me. What do you want to rededicate yourself to? Living the 5 principles of unity? There is only one presence and one power active as the universe and in my life, God the good. Our essence is of God, therefore we are inherently good. This God essence was fully expressed in Jesus the Christ. We are co-creators with God, creating reality through thoughts held in mind. Through prayer and meditation, we align our heart-mind with God. Denials and affirmations are tools we use. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know, and or maybe incorporate more of the 12 powers. Faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, imagination, understanding, order, will, zeal, release, and life. If you have not immersed yourself in the unity principles and powers, please do so. They're illuminating, and they really work. I am still working on order and zeal. Which ones are you working on? How did these powers illuminate your life like the Hanukkah candles? Hanukkah is not merely about celebrating the miracles that occurred. It is also about giving thanks for those miracles. The power of light to overcome darkness. The power of light to overcome darkness. The power of light to overcome darkness. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks said, "For though my faith is not yours, and your faith is not mine, if we each are free to light our own flame, together we can banish some of the darkness of the world." That is why I wanted the Christmas tree up today as well. And there's Kwanzaa and there's celebrations of light all over the world. Learn about these rituals, learn about these celebrations. They're very, very, very meaningful. They go pretty deep. And James Keller said, "A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle." My favorite memories of Hanukkah as a child are having amazing Hanukkah parties with my brother Daniel and our 8 cousins on my father Isaac's side, and sometimes with my 5 cousins on my mother Flora's side. We had so much fun and received wonderful gifts that I remember to this day. And one really potent memory is I saw a baby high chair, like a pink and white baby high chair in the distance. And there must have been 40 gifts in front of my piano in the living room, and all the cousins were there. I was like, oh, I hope that's mine. I hope that's mine. And it was for me. It was very exciting. It's kind of like, it's a very exciting time to have with your family because, once again, we don't want to focus on the material so much, but it is super, super fun. Anybody like to have fun? Yeah. So, as I conclude, I will be ending with something after I finish the last word. So as I conclude, I ask you to embrace the 5th principle of taking action, of being the light. Who thinks that they are pretty lightful? You have a lot of light in. Come on, high up. Okay, be proud of this. This is your gift. People sitting in this room, however many people there are, exponentially multiplied, that's a heck of a lot of light, right? So keep on doing it. And if you feel it dimming, rest, and then rejuvenate. Rest, rejuvenate, rest, rejuvenate. Because self-care, self-love, number 1, we have got to take care of ourselves before we give it out into the world. So take action of being the light in your family, friend, circles, and community. Now, more than ever, be the shamash and do it with gusto and love. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Hello, goodbye, and peace. As I end this talk, and I walk my walk, I go forth in grace. To be part of this human race sometimes drives me nuts, but there are no ifs, ands, or buts when it comes to shining my light. Everything that you do is a prayer. Everything that you do is there for you to be aware. So go forth, shine your light, be the shamash. Good night.